welcome back to our channel. If you want to see how I made this delicious gumbo for the very first time ever, keep on watching. Man, you don't want to miss out. I did an absolute awesome job for it being my first time. And y'all, I'm so proud of me. So I have these little sticky fingers right here. You want a cornbread muffin?
Yes.
Say hi.
Yeah.
Say hi, Sophia and Noel. Okay, come on. So I had some little hands over here digging in my cornbread muffin. Here, there's one for you. And there's one for you. So we're going to have cornbread muffins with it. And I also made a big old thing of rice. So there's the rice. Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to my channel. How's everybody doing? So today I'm going to make a gumbo. So I thought, let me get on here and I do my gumbo. This is actually my first time personally making it. I did help my son-in-law make it one time. Well, he basically made it. I just helped him I cut up all the veggies and things like that. But I did stand there and I watched him make it. So it's a fairly simple recipe. We are going to be having cornbread muffins. I'm also going to be using my husband's big turkey fryer stock pot. I actually even have a step stool down on the ground, you guys, because this stock pot is so tall that I know I can't reach it. So I'm going to show you guys. So here's the stock pot that I'll be using. There's my step stool because this is so high that it's hard for me. I can't even see in the bottom of the pot. So I need the step stool so that I can see in there. So it's pretty big. So here's some of the things that I'll be using. I'm going to be using flour. So this is here. I have 2 cups of flour. I'm going to be using vegetable oil. I have 1 cup of vegetable oil. I will be using the Creole seasoning, and I will be using 2 teaspoons of the Creole seasoning. I'll be using my Old Bay seasoning, and I will be using 1 tablespoon of the Old Bay seasoning. I also have my Worcestershire sauce. I'll be using 2 tablespoons of that. I have some organic chicken broth, and I have a total of 4 32-ounce bottles of chicken stock. I also will be using 1 teaspoon of thyme. I have bay leaves. I'll be using about 5 bay leaves. I also have some minced garlic. I'll be using 1 tablespoon of garlic. I have my kielbasa beef sausages. This is 3 packages of that. I will also be using celery. I have a 1.5 cups of celery. I also have a 1/2 cup of diced green onions. I have a cup of green bell pepper. Have a 1/2 cup of a white onion, and I also have a 1/2 cup of parsley. And I also have, this is a 1.5 sticks of butter. And here's the crab legs that I'll be using. But I also wanted to show you guys the package. I've already rinsed those off and put them on a platter just to drain. But I'll be using the wild caught snow crab legs and claws. I got these from Sam's Club. I also have 2 bags of shrimp. This bag I bought from Costco. And then this is a bag that my husband bought from Sam's Club. So one of them has the tail on. These are the ones from Costco. I'm actually kind of glad I got the 2 different ones. And then here's the one from from Sam's Club that doesn't have the tail on. And then here is the package from the sausages that I'll be using. I couldn't find the andouille sausages, but I like the Hillshire beef smoked sausages because they're very flavorful. I actually use these in my jambalaya when I make that. Oh, one more thing I forgot to add. I also bought a container of real crab meat, premium lump crab meat. So I figured I'd use this and just put it in there as well. So then that way we're still getting crab meat without always having to crack open one of these guys. So I am going to go ahead and get started. So let's get started, y'all. Okay, I had to change things up a bit. That stock pot was way too tall and I couldn't, it was too tall for me to video using that pot. So I decided to use this pot instead. I'm hoping that it works out. So all I can do is just go for it and see how it. My biggest challenge is hopefully this pot, I gotta need to turn this down. The biggest challenge is just hoping that this pot is big enough. I kind of stacked a couple of the crab legs in there when I got it out, and I think it's gonna work, but I think it's just gonna be really, really, really full. So we'll see. And worst case scenario, I won't be able to put all the crab legs in there, and maybe what I can do is just cook the crab legs in just a separate pot, and then we just add them to the gumbo later. So we gonna see how it goes, y'all. Y'all with me? Okay, let's go. Okay, you guys, so the first thing I'm doing here is I am going to brown my kielbasa beef sausages. These are already fully cooked, so the only thing I'm doing here is I'm just browning them and releasing some of that oil that comes from the kielbasa sausage, just so that I can have some added flavor. Because with that, I'm going to leave that, I forgot, what is it called? Oh gosh, what do you call it? It's called something. It's on the tip of my tongue and I can't think of it, y'all. Anyway, you know how when you get that little brown coating on the bottom of the pot? I want that on the bottom of the pot because when I make my roux and when I add my butter, that's where I'm going to get all my flavoring from. So like I said here, I'm just browning. And I'll just keep doing that until my sausage are the brownness that I like. Okay, so as you guys can see, you see how my sausage has created some of that oil at the bottom? That's exactly what I was looking for. And I think they're pretty brown the way that I like them. So I'm going to go on and take them out. And I'm going to put them in a bowl. And I'm just going to set that bowl aside so I can finish preparing the other ingredients. Okay, so I finished browning my sausage. And there it is there, you guys, in a bowl. And I'm just going to set that aside. Now, next, I will be adding a little bit of butter to my skillet, or to my pot, I should say. And I'm adding about a tablespoon of butter. I know I had a stick set aside, but I didn't know that my sausage was going to create as much oil as it did. So that's the reason why I'm not using the amount of butter that I actually had set aside. And so now this is where you're going to start browning your flour. So what I like to do is I like to just add a little bit of flour at a time until it's incorporated. And then I just keep adding it little by little until I've added in all the flour from my bowl. Now, this is the part, you guys, where it can get a little bit time consuming because you have to keep stirring your flour. And this is where you're making your roux. So you have to keep stirring your flour until it's brown. And it just depends on the color that you like. I like mine to be a medium dark brown. I don't like mine too dark, but I think mine's came out to be about a medium dark brown, which is how I like it. I've seen it come in many a color, so I don't think there's a rule to the color your roux has to be. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you can pretty much make your roux the color that you like, just as long as it's not black, y'all. Okay, so now it's done, and you see that's about the color that mine's is gonna be. So that's like a medium to dark brown. It might look a little bit lighter than it really is, but it's a nice color. I liked it. And so now after I've browned my flour, I'm adding in my onions. And I'm going to cook my onions for about 2 to 3 minutes, just until I see them start to change color. They'll look a little bit translucent. And that's how I know that they're pretty much almost done. They don't have to be completely tender because you're going to simmer this too. So they don't have to be done. So I'm just sauteing those onions in that roux, and it's also giving that roux just more flavor. So you see how we're just layering in those flavors. This gumbo is going to be absolutely delicious, y'all. I wish y'all were here so you can smell what's really going on, because it's smelling pretty good and I'm liking the results so far. So I'm just going to keep incorporating those onions. And I'm just going to keep stirring this, you guys, so that I can get it darker. So this is kind of the part where I said earlier that it's time consuming, because this is the part where you're just going to keep stirring and 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 stirring. I know you guys are probably thinking, how many more times is Kiana going to say that? A few more times. You're going to keep stirring and stirring and stirring, because you need to get your roux kind of dark. And so that's what I am doing here. With the onions are in here as well. So it's the onions and that flour and those juices, the oils from the sausage that I just sauteed before that, and that butter. So look how beautiful it looks, you guys. But it's going to get much darker than it is. And you see how I had to switch hands, y'all, because my other hand was getting tired. So I think I got it the way that I want it. And now I'm adding in that celery, y'all. This is looking so beautiful. I'm excited. I am so excited. So I'm just going to keep stirring the celery and the onions for a little while until until I feel like they've cooked down a little bit. Now, don't worry if your roux starts to thicken up. It is absolutely okay, you guys, because you are going to add a liquid to this. That's why we got our handy dandy stock over there, chicken stock. And so now I am adding in my bell pepper. And I'm just going to add in all my bell pepper, get that nice and incorporated into with the onions, the celery, and the flour. And you see how it's really thickened up now since I've added in my veggies. You guys don't panic. It is absolutely okay, because like I said, once you add in that liquid, it's gonna be fine. So you'll see the final thing. I'm not lying to you guys. You'll be okay. So I don't want anybody to panic. And as you can see, my roux has also darkened up quite a bit too. You can see from when I first started to now, it's much darker than it was. So here is where we are going to add our handy dandy chicken stock, y'all. So you're going to add that, and you're just going to keep stirring that around. So here, this is a 16-ounce container of chicken stock, and I have 2 of those. So just keep stirring, getting that all incorporated. Keep stirring it around until it's you don't see any lumps of flour. And you shouldn't by now. You should just see the veggies. So you see what I was telling you, you guys? So don't panic if that happens. So here, I'm just using my whisk just to make sure that I'm getting all those good, that good coating off from the bottom of the pan. Because that's your seasonings too, you guys. So I'm just going to keep whisking that until I feel like I don't feel any roughness at the bottom of my pan, where it's nice and smooth. I got to get me a bigger wick, you guys. The one that I had, it broke. And so I need to put that on the list to get a bigger one. The one I'm using, the one that I am currently using right now, actually goes to a hand mixer that I have. And so now, look at the color on that, y'all. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So here I'm adding the other container of my chicken stock. And I know it seems a bit runny right now, but I promise you it is going to thicken up, you guys. It is going to thicken up. So I'm just stirring that, getting that all nice and incorporated in there. And now from here, I am going to add, another thing. So I have 3 things of chicken stock. I couldn't remember if I had 2 or 3, so that was 3. Now I'm adding 2 to 3 bay leaves, you guys. And this is where you really start adding in all your other seasonings. And this is my Old Bay. I'm adding in a teaspoon of Old Bay. I'm adding in a tablespoon of the Creole seasoning, you guys. That Tony Chacharoni. I know I jacked the name all up, but you guys know which one I'm talking about. And here I'm adding in a half a teaspoon of thyme. And a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. Well, I'm actually adding in 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. Man, I wish y'all were here so you could smell this. It smells absolutely divine. So I'm just going to give that a stir to stir up everything. Oh, it smells so good, you guys. And now I'm adding in my sausage. And I added in my sausage now, you guys, because I wanted to get the flavor of that sausage in there while I let it simmer. Now I'm not going to add in my shrimp or my crab legs just yet, just because that doesn't take long to cook. So here I'm putting the lid on, and I'm just going to let that simmer until it's the thickness that I like. So here I'm just showing you guys. Still needs to cook a little bit longer because it's not the thickness that I want, but it's thickening up for sure. It's not as loose as it was in the beginning. Man, if you guys were here, you would be able to smell. It smells absolutely delicious in this kitchen. So I'm just stirring it a little bit, and I'm just going to let it keep cooking for a little bit longer. So now you can see. Do you see the difference? Ooh, I am so excited, y'all. This is the best ever. So it's the thickness that I want. It's not soupy, but it's not thick. And so I kind of don't know how to explain it, but that's the consistency that I wanted it. And so now here I'm adding in my parsley, fresh parsley. And now I'm starting to add in my shrimp. And it's still going to be thickening up too the whole while, you guys, while I'm adding in the shrimp. Because shrimp don't take very long to cook either. So that's why you want to add in your seafood last. Because seafood doesn't take long at all to cook. And you don't want to overcook your seafood, because if you do, then your seafood, it's going to be rubbery, and you don't want it to taste rubbery. So I'm just turning down my pot a little bit. So far, so good, you guys. This pot is working out. It's pretty full though, but I think I'll be able to work it out. Now, I know what some people do to make their chicken stock for their gumbo is they get the shrimp that have the shells on it, and then they use the shells, and then you put the water, and then you boil your shells and stuff, and then they use that as a chicken stock. I didn't want to do that this time, only because it was my first time making it, and I just wanted to kind of make it a little bit easy on me because I didn't want to mess it up, even though I don't think I could have messed it up using it like that. But you could do it. You can make your own stock as well if you choose to. So that is me removing the bay leaves. I don't want to keep those in there, so I'm taking those out. I feel like they've been in there long enough to get the flavor out of them that I wanted. And I'm just checking to see if there's any more in there. I probably won't find them all, but it's okay if I don't. Because you definitely don't want to eat the bay leaves. They don't taste good at all. Not to just eat anyway. And so now it's time to add those crab legs. Yes, the best part. I believe my shrimp are cooked enough. And now I am going to add my crab legs. Y'all, I don't know if I'm going to be able to fit all of these in here, but I'm definitely going to try. For sure. And I believe these are fully cooked already. I believe so. So basically, these are just warming up. So I had to break that one because it was too long to fit in there. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to fit all of those in there. I'm definitely going to make sure that I'm on the lookout for a bigger pot. Not one too big, but one that's just big enough for me to really make a nice big pot of gumbo. Because this pot it's a lot of gumbo in here. But if I wanted to invite, people over, I definitely need to make I definitely need to invest in a bigger pot. So I'm just going to keep stuffing these in here, y'all. And this pot it is completely packed. I'm trying to find ones that I can squeeze in here some more. Because I can't even really even stir the pot up anymore because it's a lot of stuff in there. So y'all see me trying to make it work. I'm trying. So far, so good, but I really can't stir it much. But it's looking pretty good. Let's see if I can add some more. And I'll just put the top on so they can really get nice and hot. I'm working it out, y'all. It's looking pretty good. Pretty good. Okay, so now I'm about to add the real crab meat. I couldn't fit all the crab legs in here, but I only ended up with 1, 2, 3, like 3 of the, I don't know, 3 of the bundles that I couldn't fit in there, but it's okay. I got the majority of them in there. And then not only that, this will make up for what I couldn't fit in there. So y'all, you can see, look at this, y'all. Man, I wish y'all was here. This is, I'm so proud of me, y'all. See, I can't really, it's so much stuff in here that I can't really stir. I'm gonna try my best to get. Yeah, now that I'm looking at, I think that other pot would have been too big. I probably need a pot about this size plus another half of this one. I'm gonna find me a good, nice, large stock pot. Maybe I'll go on Amazon and find me one. But yeah, you guys, look at all that. And see how the broth has kind of like a thickness to it. It's not like real soupy. You guys can see it, how it's coating the spoon. That's what you want it to do. You want it to be able to coat the spoon. You see how it's coating it? That's how you want your broth to be. But y'all, oh, there's that other bay leaf. I've been looking for the bay leaves to pull them out. It's probably, I think it's like 2 more in there. But y'all, this is looking some kind of good. Uh-oh.
Really?
Okay, so I made my husband, he's got the first plate. He's tasting it. See how I did on my first gumbo. Yay, nay, need something. Sop up a little bit of that cornbread in that sauce and that broth. Can you say something? Let me let y'all see how he doing.
This ain't no time to talk right now.
Do you need a little bit more of the sauce on your plate? Here's. You need a little bit more sauce?
No, I got plenty right. Let me just
good?
work with it.
Nobody's gonna ask for any.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, you wanna close out the video?
You guys are fearfully and wonderfully made, and everything else the word of God says you are. Toodles.
Bye, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next vlog. Bye. They already know you live in this house, Kalia. Stop playing.
I wasn't. I didn't do it.